World of Warcraft is a well-known MMORPG that released way back in 2004. And since then, it has had 7 expansions and a monster load of gameplay changes. Some great, some... But regardless of gameplay opinions, there has always been one aspect of World of Warcraft that the community has always agreed upon, and that is the cinematic art team. In this series, I will be going through and breaking down each cinematic released from Classic WoW to the upcoming Shadowlands, and spelling out each detail from the cinematic that makes what we are seeing so powerful. I am the Faceless One, and let's get started. World of Warcraft, a sequel to an exceptional RPG game, rich with lore, personal stories, and grand adventures. Blizz already had a challenge. With so much story before World of Warcraft, how could new players possibly get invested?
4 years have passed since the mortal races banded together and stood united against the might of the Burning Legion. Though Azeroth was saved, the tenuous pact between the Horde and the Alliance has all but evaporated. The drums of war thunder once again.
This opening here was the perfect way for Blizzard to recap old stories from those returning and to set up the world to players who may not know a thing about the events of Warcraft 1 through 3. The information given about the Alliance and Horde teaming up to battle a force known as the Burning Legion and have now set up once again for war sets the stage for this massive world, but also sparks interest to those new players who wish to research and read up on the lore in more detail. This opening shot works wonders. First off, we see the iconic dwarf style from the previous games in pure, fully rendered beauty. This simple scene also introduces 3 things to use right off the bat: the dwarven race, the introduction of the hunter class as he has his pet by his side, and 3, the mighty entrance to the dwarven capital Ironforge. Not to stick on this image for too long, but the beauty of this comes from once you're in-game. As this location, you can find and stand upon it yourself to get the sense of scale you saw in the beginning. I'm even pretty sure this little tent setup you see on the hill was probably his. How cute. Now, during this night elf running through the forest, let's talk about Blizz's choice of races to show to start off this cinematic. Warcraft up to this point was widely known to be orcs versus humans, so why a dwarf and night elf? I believe this was more to start with a bang, showing the return of the Night Elves and Dwarves from Warcraft 3, for those who played it, and showing off cool races to those who were new. The mighty change between the cold mountains to the enchanted forest really juxtapose each other, showing a wide range of uniqueness in the world. Before... we introduced the Druid's shapeshifting. So much to take in, so fast. Things slow down a bit as we see one of the large plots from Warcraft 3, the Forsaken, undead and their foul magic. This also shows us another class in the Warlock. And Blizz's choice to have an Infernal as his companion I feel was intentional, to throw back to the intro of the Burning Legion and Infernals in the Warcraft 3 opening, an iconic creature that won't go missed. The music calms and transitions to a mighty Tauren standing atop a mountain in Mulgore, showing the race and its more peaceful yet powerful form. In the back you can see small Tauren huts and buildings, adding yet again another drastic change from dark to light, right before... we are reintroduced to the Savage Orcs. In front of their capital city of Orgrimmar, the orc rages and screams, bringing us back to how Warcraft all started. Speaking of which... We see a human right after. Coincidence? I think not. Battling yet again the mighty Infernal with his fireballs, showing off yet again another class, the Mage this time. The plethora of clips of classes using their abilities is what draws the viewer in. What are these powers? Can I play as that? How crazy would that be? Then, after all parties are introduced, we see Warcraft kick off. The dwarf and his pet fire upon an unseen enemy, and when they come into view, we see it's a Tauren like seen before, but now holding a mighty tree stump to bash its enemies away, showing just how strong the Tauren can be. We see the undead unleashing his infernals onto the attack. We then cut to an orc and the elf seen before in an all-out battle. The orc showing its primal rage as the elf defends herself as best she can. We then cut again to the mage unleashing a frost nova, which exists in game, before charging up for another attack. And finally, as we the viewer are knocked out by the weight of the trunk of the mighty Tauren, slamming down to reveal the logo. The music cuts out with only a soft, gentle chant below, giving us time to take in and contemplate everything we just saw. Now, I know a lot of that was mostly just talking about what was visually seen, but the part that the cinematic did well to sell the product was giving just little tastes of the world, the class, and the abilities. To be honest, I think the only two lies that you could say were there were the Tauren holding a tree, as there were no weapons like that were usable by players in-game at the moment, and the two Infernals charging in as the Warlock could only really have one, but with those small details aside, we saw a Hunter, a Druid, a Warlock, a Mage, a Warrior, all in action. We saw dwarves, elves, Tauren, orcs, undead, humans, and visited Dunmarrow, Teldrassil, Tirisfal Glades, Mulgore, Durotar, and more. All of these things exist in the hands of the players once they get in-game, and this cinematic is how Blizzard got players excited to get into the World of Warcraft. Hey guys, so I hope that you liked that as my first video on this channel, and I'm planning on going to be releasing these weekly. So if you are interested in seeing more on the cinematics, go ahead and just hit subscribe and the like button, and I will see you guys in the next episode. This is the Faceless One. Until next time.